How's it going today, Oscar? It's great to see you. Glad you joined the show.
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. Excited for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I've researched you as much as possible, I think, leading up to this. You've got quite the extensive career in terms of where you played and what you've done. So, looking forward to getting to know you more. Just before we go, I mean, can you tell me more about you, where you played? We'll get in depth in it too. Tell me your age, anything that's relevant.
Yes, sir. I'm 26. I played high school ball in Kansas City before going on to play at Bethany College, which is kind of a small school out in Kansas. Um, After college, I went and played in a Senior Bowl down in South Carolina, which kind of gave me my first, opportunity to get in front of professional coaches, get in front of some scouts and stuff like that. Following that, I got signed to the Bydgoszcz Archers in Poland. So following that game, I trained for maybe 2 months after that, and then they flew me straight out to Warsaw. 3-hour drive from there to Bydgoszcz, which was a large city in Poland. So that was kind of my first opportunity dipping my toes into the professional game. After camp, COVID hit, kind of spread all across Europe pretty fast. So I was actually on one of the last flights out of Europe coming back to the U.S. before really everything was totally halted and shut down.
Wow.
So that put kind of a quick end to my first opportunity. But it ended up working out because I came back, and right at that time, Brian Woods, who I now believe runs the USFL maybe or one of those leagues, he was running the spring league at the time, which was kind of the kind of his project, which ended up kind of forming itself into other leagues. But the spring league was his kind of his only thing at that time, and they were the first league to do like the bubble concept for football down in San Antonio. So that was on Fox Sports 1. So it was on national TV and stuff like that. So I signed with the Blues. Head coach Ted Cottrell, he was the only coach in the spring league that gave me an opportunity. He's a former head coach of the Houston Roughnecks and the original XFL, Ted Cottrell.
Gotcha.
So he was a great guy. He gave me my first opportunity in the spring league. Got to play on national TV. Got to play with a lot of former NFL guys, a lot of big name college guys. It's like Shea Patterson and JT Barrett were some of the quarterbacks there. So it was a lot of these name guys that I've heard of since I was in high school and stuff like that, and kind of getting that opportunity was really cool, and kind of my first, opportunity with that caliber of players.
What year was that? What
that was 2020.
Gotcha.
So that was during COVID, and they had us all down there in San Antonio, living in the same hotel, all the different teams and stuff like that. And they just bus us to and from I don't know what that stadium is called down there in San Antonio, but where UTSA plays and stuff like that. They had all the Fox Sports 1 camera crews and stuff set up. So it ended up being a really good situation, especially for a guy like me, this is just getting my start and trying to get, some eyes on me and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share some videos while you talk. Go ahead. Keep talking. No worries. I just want to show what you're talking about.
Yeah, when that, and this was kind of, I started with my long snapping, kind of got me an opportunity in the league itself. I had done it a little bit in college, and coming from a small college, it's tough to get an opportunity because they hear Bethany College. Nobody knows Bethany College, and I say, hey man, like I can long snap, I'll play linebacker, I'll do whatever whatever you need from me, I'll do it. And I remember my first time getting on the team, and I'm on there as a long snapper, and I tell Cottrell, head coach, really good guy, I'm like, hey, can I get in here with these linebacker drills? And he's like, yeah, whatever. Long snappers normally stand over by the water cooler and kind of talk about golf. You know what I mean? They sit over there and talk about the golf game, and I'm like, hey, let me hop in with these linebacker drills. So So I get in with the linebacker drills. I end up getting myself in there and team and stuff. And I remember we're sitting in the meeting room, and Cottrell goes, "You can kind of play football." And I was like, it was one of those it was like such a confirmation for me, because I know I'm a linebacker. I know what I can do, and just hearing a guy like that, he was a coach in the NFL for a ton of years, and he coached great players, and just him saying, "Hey, man, you can kind of play football," was like a confirmation that everything I've been doing and everything I've been working on kind of was coming into fruition. You know what I mean?
Understood.
But I got done with that. Ended up getting a little bit of time in our last couple of games playing linebacker, and then our game COVID shut that down. Like 75% of the dudes all got COVID at the exact same time in this spring league. So that shut down, and I ended up signing with the Salina Liberty, which is a CIF arena team. That was my next stop, and that's where I played my first full season playing linebacker, playing defensive end. And I was still doing the long snap thing a little bit, but of course with arena it's different because you don't really, utilize that in the same way. But that was my first real full season of getting to, play my natural position, linebacker, as well as working a little D end when we had, injuries or roster issues or stuff like that. So that was with Salina.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes,
before
sir.
we go on, your high school career.
Yes, sir.
Did you play linebacker in high school as well?
Yeah, I played linebacker and D end in high school as well.
Got you. Now, I don't know if my research is correct, so you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but did you win a state championship there?
We lost the state championship, but we did go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That was I found some articles. I dug up some stuff and was reading, so that's why I was curious. Yeah,
we lost to Christian Brothers Academy in St. Louis, and that was in that state. I don't know what that stadium's called either, but where the current XFL team in St. Louis plays, and where the Rams used to play and stuff like that, was where the Missouri State Championship was, and we lost by 6 points, I think. So still
sad, but it's still
tough subject. But so I go get my first, real full season playing defense like I wanted to. Yeah, and these highlights here, I mean, these guys all in the spring league, pretty much everybody I played against had NFL experience or was D1. So just being able to move at the speed that I needed to, against these guys was a confirmation for me that, I was doing it right, and the work I've been putting in was paying off in a sense. After Salina, that season would have been 2021, I believe. I ended up signing with the Pioneros in Mexico following that season in December. So I headed to Mexico that following year, 2022, and I played a full season there. And that's in the FAM league, where Trent Richardson was down there and stuff like that. So that was one of the best run leagues as far as the film, as far as the fans, as far as the way the teams operated. I mean, we were flying to Cancun or flying to Cabo for a game.
Oh wow!
We were going to and teams were going to Cancun, teams were going all over the place, and they really love football down there, which is kind of something I didn't expect. But I mean, they got the little kids playing it. They got girls flag football. It's all year round for them. So they're super into it down there. Super into the team in the city that we were in. So it was a really great time. So that was kind of my first opportunity overseas to really play a full season. And then this most recent year, I've been with the Tallahassee team, and also some other little, independent arena teams down here in Florida where I live. And that's kind of just been, for me, an opportunity to stay at home. I've had some stuff I wanted to take care of. We're in the process of buying a house right now. I just got engaged to my longtime girlfriend. So there just kind of some. I appreciate you. There's been kind of some personal things where it was a good opportunity for me to still get to play, still get some film, and kind of take care of what I need to take care of before this next season comes, and I'll be traveling again, whether that be overseas or an arena team, or more. That kind of gave me a gap year to still get film, still show coaches that I'm active, still making plays, but at the same time, let me take care of my business a little bit for a year. And that's kind of where we're at now. Training every day, just waiting on an opportunity, really.
Gotcha. In terms of, like you said, you're just trying to stay in shape and keep everything rolling with that makes sense. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that, man. Do you have any kind of expectations moving forward for who you want to play for or where you want to play?
I'm pretty open to it. I learned that, at a young age when I was first coming out of college, for this whole business, football and trying to play football for money, beggars can't be choosers in a sense. You're looking for an opportunity, you're looking for any chance you can find to get film, to get some eyes on you, to show that you can play, to show that you can make plays, and that you do deserve that opportunity. So for me, I'm kind of open to stuff. I do have a couple of, preferred destinations, I would say, in my head. And my agents at the Gridiron Crew, Colin, Nick, Dallas, they're all helping me out, and we kind of have our own, little conversations where we're discussing potential, opportunities and potential stuff that we're all looking for. Really, what it comes down to, and I guess it's something, I think that all players in this world of I don't know what you would call it, football, below the NFL, minor league football or whatever. What you're looking for really is,
I say developmental is the term.
Developmental. Perfect. That's a great word. For this whole, this whole world of developmental football, what we should all be looking for, is a consistent program that's putting quality film, in a place that you can get to it. It doesn't matter how good you play. If the film, was recorded on a Nokia flip phone, like, you're not going to get much out of it. You know what I mean? People aren't going to be taking it serious. You want to have a consistent schedule against quality opponents with quality film and a program that's been established. They're going to take care of you financially. They know you're going to, take care of your living expenses, stuff like that. So it's kind of a standard that I think is getting a lot better. It's taken a while because, for so long, I think teams could kind of do people wrong, and it would just get brushed under the rug and not talked about. So now, it's been a lot better with these developmental leagues, developmental teams coming out, that can say, hey, we do have the financial backing. We do have guys that are invested in this and care about this and, want this to work out. And it's not just a something fun for them to do or something fun for them to put together. They actually care about it. So that's kind of, something that's important to me for not only myself, but for my guys, that are all kind of coming on the same journey.
It makes sense. And for one, I'll say you're very humble talking to you. Like you said, you take any opportunity given to you. And that shows your humbleness and how you feel about your athletic career. But I'll say too that, you've seen over the years, I know, like, how old are you? I didn't ask you that. I forgot.
26.
26.
25. I turned 26 in a couple of days.
Yeah. So no worries.
Yeah.
There, over the years, there's always been, these hastily put together minor leagues is what I call it. I don't call that a developmental league. Something like the XFL or USFL, that's what I consider developmental.
Right.
They're giving players the opportunity to make that stepping stone and then giving you quality play time with a quality schedule, as well as giving you tons of film opportunities if you play. I've seen over the years in athletics, I've seen a lot of these second-hand, third-hand teams that really all they're doing is combine workouts to make some cash, or such. So I understand exactly what you're saying, and I think with the evolution of spring football, the XFL, the USFL, it really opens the doors up for opportunities for others to come in and say, hey, we're legitimate and we have legitimate product, we have a brand. And so, researching it, looking up your time in Mexico, I did not realize that there was that big of a following. I knew that they participated and had clubs and such, but man, it is huge down there, and there's a whole different fandom of individuals that are following the sport. So it's pretty interesting, and I think you got a really good head on your shoulders that you're working, and you can see that in your career and where you've played and what you've been doing. You've just been staying busy. So
yes,
good
sir.
stuff, man.
That's what I try to tell guys, because I mean I've played with, whether it be college or any of these leagues, or I've played with dudes who are immensely talented. Talent is never the issue, but they're sitting at home on the couch and they're saying, when's somebody going to call me? It's like, hey man, there's a lot of guys out there. We're all trying to get this opportunity. Nobody's coming to your living room to get you.
You got to hustle. You got to do your end.
Yeah. You got to kind of, I say like buy the ticket was a big mantra I had for a long time. And by that, I mean, put yourself out there and get yourself into an opportunity where, somebody can find you and somebody can, sign you. And like you said, you're looking for, just to get your foot in the door of any league where dudes have signed from that league to the CFL or signed from that league to the NFL. And that's huge for me. Like you said, it's like, obviously XFL, USFL, guys from that are always going to the NFL. IFL, CIF, 2 arena leagues, NAL, dudes from that are going to CFL, going to the NFL. Europe, the European League of Football, and Mexico. Every year, you'll have a dude or two end up, really having a good year, and they go to the CFL or NFL. So it's a situation where, you're just trying to do the best you can, put yourself in the best situations, opportunities you can to just take one step up. Any step up you can take, you're on the right path. So that's kind of where my mind's at for my journey, and just keep taking little steps up as best I can.
Makes total sense. And I'm going to ask you some more questions here. We're going to jump around a little bit, probably just because we've had a little offhand discussion, so no worries. So let's go back to your time in Mexico. What were some of the biggest challenges you had playing there? Or, I mean, I guess you lived there during the season. How was that?
Yes, sir. So I was there for 3.5 months. I want to say 3.5, 4 months. And lucky for me, I got a little bit of Spanish, just enough to, I can like order some beers or something, or I can talk to the Uber driver or whatever.
You're doing better than I can.
So that was big. I know a lot of my guys on the team, a lot of the other Americans really had nothing. I mean, they had like hola, and that was that's where it ran out. So for those boys, it was tough. I've done a little bit of traveling. I mean, like I said, I was in Poland too, so I'm kind of comfortable, in foreign situations and stuff. And with the translator on my phone, I can kind of get by, and I like doing stuff. So I'd be downtown checking out kind of the old Mexican cities where they have, the museums and the churches and the little shops and stuff. So I really enjoyed the traveling aspect of it and kind of getting to experience a different culture. But I mean, challenges, like it's a tough job, man. They want a lot from you. To them, these Americans they have, you're like they're prize fighter or something. They bring you down there. They got you in an apartment, and one day they'll just come pick you up. Hey, we got to go do this appearance at the school. We got to go sign autographs for these people. We got to go take pictures. And I mean, the like you said, the people down there love it. So it's like, if you're an American football player and you're in Mexico to play football for money, people down there, treat you like you're a superstar or something. So there's always a lot to do, a lot going on. And at the same time, it's a very competitive league. And kind of a lot of things that people don't understand is, for Mexico, the Mexican guys that are playing on the team, probably only, the upper half of them are getting paid. The bottom half of it, it's true they're working full-time jobs, coming out there trying to play. All the Americans are fully paid, fully taken care of. Our flights are all covered. We have a huge apartment with a pool. It's all paid for.
Understood.
Everything's taken care of. So when you step on the field, a lot of these guys feel some type of way, and I don't blame them for feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, I just worked 10 hours of construction, now I'm out here and I'm going to try and take some heads off. It's a different thing, and it's something you got to be ready for, where first day on the ground, there's a lot of guys that are out to prove a point and out to, show something. And that's not to say, I had any issues with any of the guys, because I don't. I loved all the, I made a lot of really good friends who are all Mexican guys that were on the team. But it's definitely something that people aren't aware of and people aren't ready for. Is when they get there, these Mexican guys are trying to prove a point. They're trying to show that they play ball too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing.
They got a little chip on their shoulder.
They got a hell of a chip on their shoulder.
Did you, in terms of the actual playing, I mean, is it all the rules? They're all similar, almost the same to American football?
Yeah, what I loved about the football Americano de Mexico or whatever is what the league I was in, was it was full NFL rules with NFL footballs.
Gotcha.
Which is a little thing, but like I don't know. I think that's important not only for offensive positions, but like if I do long snap, which I always like to keep in my arsenal, because it's like the more you can do, whatever. But yeah, we were full NFL rules, NFL footballs. Like the refs were trained on the most up to date NFL rules and stuff like that. So
gotcha.
That I thought was huge. I think that's something that any new league or especially Europe or Mexico or Poland or wherever, doing that full, trying to mirror the NFL rules wise is huge, just for the look of the game and the pace of the game and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if they had anything like Canada does, where they do things a little different, but it's almost the same.
They keep it pretty much exactly the same. Yeah.
That's cool. In terms of the fans, how's the fan output there? I mean, what's in your mind, or maybe what's an average, rough estimate of fan counts at those games?
I couldn't even tell you. I know every stadium we were at was close to full.
Gotcha.
If not, full.
I couldn't find much footage. I found like your game film and stuff, but I couldn't find much of the actual stadium. So I was just curious, basically, what that looked like.
There's a team in I want to say Guadalajara. I'm not sure where it is, but I mean their fans there. It was our last game of the season, and they were standing room only, surrounding the end zones. The stands were full. It was packed house. So
that's awesome.
And then like the Chihuahua team, that's where I just said his name earlier. Anyway, former NFL guy, running back. He was playing for the Chihuahua team, and they were having like huge like Star Wars themed halftime shows with drones and bands and like like a full stage set up with people up there playing music. It was like a full production.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool, man. And a lot of guys down there, like you think of Mexico, you don't really know what to expect. But there's a lot of guys down there with a lot of money, and a lot of guys that are really invested in the communities and really invested in putting something in their hometown, that they can be proud of. So it's nice to have that financial backing. Yeah,
and to know you're supported, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. To know you're going to get taken care of, and they're going to fill, their end of the deal for sure.
That's awesome, dude. That's that to me, the cultural difference there, I don't really understand because I haven't been that way, but it's very curious to know how it's all handled. And even talking to you right now, I mean, basically you're almost saying that you were a celebrity down there because you played American football.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome though. I see that same team is moving to Dallas. Did you see that? The international.
Yeah, it's going to be owned by the same guy. So our owner was from the city that we were in, Querétaro, and he though had his whole company and stuff in Dallas, and so he's going to go ahead, and I guess they're doing this IFA thing, International Football Alliance, where they're going to have Mexican teams. They're going to have like Cancun, I believe. They're going to have might be Guadalajara. They're going to have a couple of different teams in Mexico and a couple of different teams in the States, and that'll be really interesting to see. How they're able to kind of do that, playing back and forth. Yeah, this guy here, the the dude on the far right is the owner. He was the owner, yes sir. He was our owner in Mexico, and he's still the owner in Dallas. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to do that and kind of how they're able to put it together. But I do like the idea of it, and I do like the idea of getting a lot of Mexican guys the opportunity to kind of get more film, because there's dudes down there that can play. There's a lot of dudes down there that can play. And it's, I want them just as much as anyone else to get their fair opportunity to get, some film and to get their name out there and to make the most of this situation, because football's only here for so long, you know what I mean, in everybody's life. So I think it's a good idea to try and get these guys some exposure while also doing the little, cross the border thing would be nice. A little rivalry back and forth.
Yeah, I think any kind of expansion, especially legitimate, is a good idea.
Yeah,
as long as it's a legitimate thing and we're not doing it cutting corners and such, I believe it's a good thing. And connecting those markets is going to be difficult, but if they can find some kind of solution and coordination, then it could be a pretty successful thing from what you're saying in my own research. Because Mexico wants football.
I've said it a million times, and I'm not sure what it would take to get to this point, but to me, it feels like Major League Baseball does it the best, where you have your major league clubs, and then you have AAA, AA, and everything funnels through itself. Everything financially supports itself, and it's a quality system that's worked for a long time. So it's like, putting something together like that for football, which I'm sure we're years out from any kind of thing resembling that. But I mean, if you could get it where you had multiple leagues that all kind of fed each other, that were all, financially secure, had the right people running them, had the right, kind of a setup, I think, it would be beneficial for everyone. It'd be beneficial for the game. And it would be beneficial for all these small towns, that they would love to have their own professional football team that they can support, that they can, go see play and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. And I mean, a lot of people's testament, unfortunately, here in America is if it's not college or NFL, I'm not watching it.
Right.
So we really got to change that. And you got to show people the product's good. And that I use the XFL because I do the XFL. It's my thing.
Right.
But the first couple games we had in our season last year this year, I guess, but last season, they weren't the best. The quality of skill wasn't there, but week 5, week 4, you really started to see these teams click together and be coercive and do different things. And that's what people want to see, to know. The money end is cool, but then again, like you said, I mean, there's guys playing for free. There's guys that just want to try to get their names out. So I think there's ways to do this. But yeah, dude, I'm in agreement with you. Is let's get it out there. Let's get the product showing, and let's expand the American football market as much as possible.
I was watching an arena game the other day, and it was my old team I used to play for. And it was an overtime game, went back. It was one of the most incredible football games that I've ever watched in my life. Like NFL, anything. It was incredible. And I was just kind of threw it on because I was cleaning the house and just hanging out. I was like, let me see what my guys are up to. And it was incredible. And I was like, it's crazy to me that the only people watching this game are the, couple thousand in the arena right now, and maybe a couple hundred of us that for some reason have it on because we have some investment in it.
Yep.
And like you said, it's like most people will just say, yeah, it's not the NFL. It's not, D1 SEC football. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't care. But it's really incredible football with, really good players out there that, like you said, we need more people to get interested in, and we need, to get all these leagues running at a legitimate level that we can have that interest and kind of build the game for sure.
Yes, sir. I agree. Let's talk more about you now. We've shared a lot of your background in terms of football and athletics, and we've talked pretty in depth about where you've been, what you've done, but kind of want to understand you more as a player. So, I mean, just from the get-go, what motivated you to play football? When did you start?
So when I was actually growing up for several years, my dad does tourism, like catamaran charters and stuff like that. So I lived in Belize, like Central America. Yeah, I lived in Belize for 10 years growing up, up until high school. So I remember one day, I don't know, my dad's always, loved football. He's from Kansas, like we're all from, Kansas City area. So we've been big on the Chiefs my whole life. So my dad always would put it on, and I was kind of always, whatever, like, when can I watch cartoons? When I was a real little kid, I was like, it didn't really hit with me. And it was like overnight, a switch flipped, and I don't know what it was, but I remember like it was the Raiders were playing the Titans, and I shouldn't care. It was like a Monday night game. Both teams weren't very good. And I was like, I told my dad, I was like, I need to watch the Raiders play the Titans. And he's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I just gotta watch. I gotta see it. And that was kind of like, it went from overnight, I didn't really care, to like I needed it. And from that point on, I consumed every type of football I could find. Like in the neighborhood, all the kids would go play like little pickup games and stuff. And then in the summers, I'd come back to Kansas City, if we had a little bit, if my dad had some time off or whatever, and I would do all the like high schools, like summer camps, where they just get all the kids out there and play 7-on-7 and stuff like that. So that was kind of my introduction to actual, organized football. And then I was lucky enough to go to a high school where our football program was massive. It was funny. It's one of the only schools I know does it kind of this way, but they didn't cut anybody because we were a big football school, whatever. And so instead of doing that, they had freshman team, sophomore team, JV varsity. So we had at any time, we had about 200 kids in the football program at any given time. So if you wanted to put the work in and rise up, you can. Even a guy like me coming from Belize, Central America, never played before. They say, hey, you're on freshman team now. And they'd take 4 or 5 freshmen that they thought, were really going to be something, and they'd pull them up. And then the rest of the freshmen, it was kind of like, hey, survival of the fittest, try and figure it out. But that was perfect for a guy like me because, like I said, I love football, and I just needed, game reps and the opportunity to kind of to get myself out there. So I worked my way all the way up, the long way from freshman team all the way up to varsity over my 4 years of high school ball. So yeah, I kind of got lucky in that situation. I fell into a good program with a lot of really good players that where they gave you an opportunity. It's like sink or swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, coming in a big program, if you're not used to it, or like where I went to high school and played football, I was all state and everything, but I think we had 24 guys playing.
Yeah.
It was not very big. I didn't have to do a lot to show out. I didn't have to do a lot to show my skills. Coming from your end, that's a lot of competitive players. That's a lot of people going for spots. I mean, that's difficult. You got to be A+, elite athlete almost to show out the program.
Yeah, I mean, I told people, like, we'd get to the playoffs and we would start having dudes double up numbers because we had so many people on the roster, so many kids on the roster. So it was really an opportunity where it's like, hey, we're not going to turn anybody away. We're not going to cut anybody. We're not going to tell anybody they can't play. But it's, at the end of the day, sink or swim. You know what I mean? So it was a great opportunity. And we had, pretty much every year you'd have at least 10 dudes, minimum 10 dudes in the senior class that would go on to some form of college football pretty much every single year. So that's
awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool deal for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have those high school stories, so I'm glad you
Yeah.
got to do that, man. I mean, seriously, I'm sure it impacted you immensely as a player.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got out of high school, and I was always, for me in high school, it was always a struggle to just get myself, on the field, because it was, 40 linebackers trying, you know what I mean, all fighting for that
Wow.
opportunity to get on the field. So when I went to college, and I chose a small school just because they, you know, gave me a really, really good offer. Made it super, super worth it financially. Took care of almost all my expenses, which is huge. I don't have loans.
That's
All my
awesome.
college stuff was taken care of. But when I got to college, I expect the same kind of thing. So I'm going in as a freshman, and I'm like, I've done this before. You know what I mean? I've been bottom of the barrel. I've, done all this. And I remember the first day of college, our first meeting, there was at the linebacker spot, there was starting four, backup, third string, fourth string, and then my name at the bottom, and then my name at the bottom. And I was like, all right, like, we're gonna see. And I ended up being, me and my roommate were the only two. There was only, like, I think 5 or 6 freshmen that would travel that year, and me and my roommate were the only 2 freshman linebackers that ended up being on the travel team, being on the roster every single game the whole season. Played as a freshman, and then started my whole sophomore year. So I
Wow.
yeah, but it didn't bother. I watched it and I saw it on there, and to me it was fun. I saw it on the board and it was funny. You know what I mean? It was almost like, all right, like, I've done this before. I've been way lower than I've been way lower than fifth string before. Let's go ahead and see what we can make shake.
You were ready, sir. You were definitely ready.
Yeah.
Most people, their eyes would get this big, but you're
Yeah.
let's work. Let's work.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. What I mean, your personal values. We talked a lot about football, but what personal values do you have? What do you hold important to you, and how has that impacted you as a player and even as a person, if you want to talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, me really, like, I think respect is huge. I think building bridges is huge. And I think, just doing doing things the right way, for the right reasons, is huge for me. And I am, a man of faith and stuff like that. But I kind of keep those things a little bit more personal. And for me, on a broader sense, it's every coach that I get in front of, every coach that I work with, every teammate that I work with, I want them to know, that I am doing this for the right reasons. I respect them. And you can ask any coach, and this is something I'm kind of proud of myself, is any coach that I've played for in any league, has good things to say about me. Even teams where it didn't really work out, for whatever reason, it's there's I have no ill will, and all those guys to this day I have them in my phone. If something comes up, they win a big game or something, I'll text them, I'll give them a call, whatever. And I think that's just kind of indicative of the player that I am and the person that I am. That every player, every coach, every player I played with, I have nothing but respect and nothing, but good things to say about them. And I do feel like I go about my business the right way. I was a captain in college, and I never was the guy, to try and yell or scream or whatever. A little pregame speech here and there, but to me, it all came down to I knew all the guys on the roster. I was in there early every day. I was doing my work. I was helping people with the playbook, even if it's my backup. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. And then going on to the pro game, there were situations where I was somebody's backup, and at the same time, where I'm gunning for their spot, I'm still going to help them out in any way that I can, whether that be with playbook or what I'm seeing on film or what I'm seeing when I do get my reps in the game, and stuff like that. Being able to play any position, being able to help in any way I can. That's the values of football that I hold, near and dear to my heart. And I think that it's shown. And I think that any coach that I've played for, any player that I've been around can tell you the same things about me.
Yes, sir. Makes sense. Good answer. Appreciate that. I mean, from talking to you, I was going to ask you this question initially, but I'm glad we kind of worked through and talked about more stuff before we got to this, because, I mean, your your experience and what you're saying is evident in what you just said there, for sure.
Right.
What do you think? No problem. What do you think your strengths are as a player? So actually, linebacker. I mean, long snapping. What are some of your strengths? Work ethic. I mean, whatever.
So we can start long snapping just because that's easy. It'll get out of the way. You know, I put a lot of work into that, and it seems like such a kind of a little, you know, whatever part of the game, but there's actually a lot of intricacies and there's a lot of things that, you know, have to be done in a certain way for you to be effective at a high level long snapping. And I don't know if you saw the other week, but Doug Peterson, the head coach for the Jaguars, brought his son in on the preseason roster or whatever. Did you see that long snap?
I did not. I seen that he got cut, correct?
We brought him in as a tight end, I guess, and threw him out there at a long snap, and it was horrendous. I mean, like,
horrendous. He's trying to give his boy the hookup.
Yeah, he's like anything to get you on this team. But I think it was like it went like 20 feet high. It was crazy. But it was, to me, that was a perfect example of you know, long snapping is kind of an art, and it's kind of something that you have to put a lot of hours into. Like, you can't put the son's kid out there. And no disrespect to him, I don't think he wanted to be out there long snapping in the first place. I think they were like, hey, let's do this. So no disrespect to him at all, but I just think it's a perfect example of, like, this is something you got to put work into, and it's timed. It's very objective. So I know that I can long snap at a high level. I know that I can take care of business in that way. From a linebacker point of view or linebacker perspective, reading an offense is far and away my strongest point of my game. I can read an offense, read where the play's going just about as fast as anyone, and I have confidence saying that because I put a lot of work into it, watch a lot of film, watch a lot of tendencies of the offense, stuff like that. So as far as reading goes, I mean, those first couple of steps, I usually can figure out exactly, you know, what's going on and what we need to make happen. As far as, once the play starts, my speed, I feel like, can get me there. And I'm able to figure out, where we're going, and then get there and be able to make a play when I do get there. And be able to kind of use my head and use my football IQ to make up for the fact that, you know, I am a 6 foot tall, real undersized white linebacker. So I got to be able to do my best. I remember another funny story from the spring league. We're in Cottrell's office. We were watching film or whatever. And I had made some play. I'd come running in and made some play or whatever. And he's like, damn, Oscar, you're moving there or something. And I was like, I know. I was like, I know we don't really see white guys move like that very often. And everyone started cracking up. I was like, I know we're all thinking it. We can, come on now. Like, let's go. But no, not joking aside, messing around aside, it really does come down to, I put a lot of work into this game. Both, with the film side, with all that, and as well physically. I'm working every day. I'm running every other day, lifting weights 6-7 days a week, doing the nutrition thing. My degree's in kinesiology,
Gotcha.
So I have a lot of experience in the strength and conditioning department. So I try to put it all together, but my mental side and my leadership skills and stuff like that, I say, would definitely be my strong suit.
Makes sense. And I mean, how could you not after your experience so far?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of keeping yourself accountable there. I can feel it right now. I can see that you
absolutely.
have to really, really keep yourself rolling. Some guys have a full staff trying to get them to this point, but you're doing it on your own, from what I understand. So
yeah, it was
besides your agents.
Yeah, they helped me out a lot with the contracts. But I mean, when it comes down to actual football, I don't have a strength and conditioning coach. I don't have a nutritionist. I don't have, and when you do get on the team, a lot of these lower teams, they don't have all that. Nobody's holding your hand. Nobody's saying, all right, now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do that. You know what I mean? They kind of say, hey, make it happen. So it's something I'm used to, something that I kind of thrive under those circumstances when a lot of other guys, struggle with it.
That's got to be huge in your career, man. I mean, the ability to keep moving forward, even when you're pushed down, getting back up and rolling with it, or just keeping the motivation.
For sure.
I don't have any further athletic experience past high school, really. But just like, for example, doing a podcast about the XFL, there's days where people don't care at all. And there's some days where people's all about it. So, I can kind of understand from a
and I'm sure for your business, it's like with podcasting, you just got to keep putting it out. You know what I mean? Keep putting in the work, keep putting it out there. And, all you're waiting for is that one, break where you get a little bit more viewership and then a little bit more viewership and a little bit more viewership. And that's kind of with football. It's like you want to play a little bit better team, a little bit better team, a little bit better team. So
Exactly.
And, and if you were to, just like with me and with your business and football, it's like, I'm sure there's days where you're like, I could just not do this. You know what I mean? You're like, I could just hang out and not do this. And you know what I mean? But if you want something, you can't let those intrusive thoughts get you.
And that's it, man. I just had to share that because I test in my own fashion of what you're saying. I can definitely agree with you, and I feel you're doing a lot more because you're actually putting your body on the line. You're putting family. I'm not sure if you have kids. You said you're getting married, but there's a lot going on. If you leave to go across the country, I'm guessing your significant other does not go, correct?
No, she doesn't. She came for a couple games in Mexico, which was cool. And I'll try and visit as much as I can, but it's a tough deal. And she's great. She always has been. She played volleyball at the college that I played football at.
Gotcha.
And she was like a star over there. So she knows, and her family, like her brother played football. Her dad was a coach. So she knows, what it takes to be, not only to be an athlete, obviously she knows how to, be an athlete, what it takes physically wise, mentally wise. But she knows, the game of football and how much that takes out of somebody. So she's been super understanding with me having to travel, me having to, hey, I just got to get in the car this weekend and go. You know what I mean? There's this opportunity. I just gotta do it. So she's been super supportive and super cool about all that. And it's been big for me having somebody, you know what I mean, that's not going to get on me because I have to go, play football in Mexico or whatever, because she knows that an opportunity is an opportunity. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Yeah, you better marry her, bro. You better get that done.
Yeah. I was like, damn, she's been putting up with me for this long. We got to get this thing going.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. I got to say the support does make a difference. And I've got the same kind of thing in my wing. So I get that as well. And you're traveling though. That props to you, bro. You're a little different than some athletes. Some of the guys I talk to, that everything's kind of around their home city or home state, maybe a state or two over, but going across the world, that's a whole different thing. Going down to Mexico, that's a whole different thing. So can't imagine, but it's awesome that you got those experiences as well.
Sure.
Let's talk. Hold on, I got a couple more questions for you. And this one's kind of offhand, but what athletes do you admire and why? So who was your role model athletically growing up, maybe, or even right now?
So growing up like I said, we were big into the Chiefs my whole life. Derrick Johnson was a linebacker that played for the Chiefs for a lot of years. And so when I was a kid, that was always like my favorite player was this guy, Derrick Johnson. And it's funny, even now, like years later, I'll like kind of look more into his game and more like the intricacies he would play with, because he was a lesser known linebacker. Obviously, Kansas City's a small market too. Back in those days, they were terrible. But I always loved the way he played. I always kind of loved, he was the captain of the team. He, you could see the leadership and see stuff like that. And that was always, huge for me. And then kind of something that is a lot more recent, but in the spring league, I was playing with a dude named DeMarquise Gates, who played in the XFL. He played in the USFL. He's played at a bunch of different places. I don't know if you've heard the name before. He played at Ole Miss.
Yep.
So he was on our team in the spring league, and we're like friends now. I haven't talked to him in a while, but just those 2 weeks that I played with him, it was seeing a linebacker go about things in such the right way and play the game. in a different way. And now he's with the Chicago Bears, which I'm super happy for him finally getting the opportunity to stick on a team in the NFL and really get his opportunity. But I just watched him kind of come in. He came in late. The way he went about his business, the way he sees the game and takes care of the game. It's something, that I talked to him about, and I think he really, helped kind of change my mindset with stuff. And it was he came in and he said, I remember he said, everyone was super worried about reps because this was a developmental team where we're all trying to, get somewhere, and everyone's super worried about reps. And he would just kind of like, he would learn the defense. He'd watch the film. He'd know what's going on. And if he got 2 reps, it was, he'd go in there and he'd handle his business for those 2 reps. And if it was 1 rep, he'd go in there and he'd handle his business for 1 rep. So he wasn't worried about complaining or, making it about him or whatever. He was really worried about getting himself in a good position where he could go on to the next level. And I know that's, we're the same age and we kind of have done, similar paths with football. But just seeing, the way he goes about business and the way he goes about football, it's no surprise to me that he's in the NFL now. So just playing with him was big for me, playing, with a linebacker of that caliber who's kind of on the same journey that I was on at the time.
Yeah, it sounds huge, man. And like I said earlier, it must be very humbling. I mean, you're telling me that someone you admire is someone you played with. So
yeah,
that's pretty significant in how I view you as a player.
Yeah. I want to learn. I mean, I want to learn from I'll learn from anybody. I'll learn from like the backup punter. You know what I mean? If he's got some if he's got some wiseness he can put on me, I'll learn from anybody. I'm very open. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, good way to be, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a couple more questions for you, Oscar. We haven't been on here too long. It's been a good conversation, though. I appreciate you coming on.
For sure. No problem.
Tell me, man, what does success mean to you personally? What do you envision your success to be?
Yeah, success to me, man, is in a broad sense, it's making the best out of your situations. I always say, like, they'll say, play the hand you're dealt. And I think that what's important to understand with the playing your hand you're dealt thing is that, you're not dealt your hand and you just look at it and you say, oh, here's what it is, and you put your cards down. You know what I mean? You look at it and you play the game, and you're switching stuff out and you're changing things. And so, yeah, you're playing the hand you're dealt, but you're not just accepting your fate. You're not accepting, what was given to you. You're taking what was given to you and you're, doing something with it, and you're making the most of it. As far as football goes, like we said earlier, same with podcasting, same with football, whatever. I just want to take a little step up every year, every time I play the game. You know what I mean? And wherever that ends is wherever it ends. When I'm done playing the game, I'll know, I'll be able to walk away saying I kind of gave my all to this and I really focused in on it. But to me, all that matters is just taking that next step up, and as long as I'm taking steps up, as long as, I have some coach somewhere that says, hey man, you can play football. You know what I mean? That's all that matters to me. And that's all, that kind of validates what I'm doing and kind of, makes me feel like all this work I'm putting in is getting something,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great answer. And I didn't really expect less from what we've talked about so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. So I got, this is kind of a 2-part question. Not really, but I mean, so I was going to ask you, what team did you enjoy playing for the most? Right. And also, what's your best athletic experience? So if you want to gauge those all into one, that would work fine.
Yeah. So I think my best year of football has probably been most recently in Mexico. Gotcha. That's where, like, there's a couple games where it's almost like an out of body experience. Like I'm seeing things happen before it happens. You know what I mean? Like, and and like you said, you were playing in high school and you were all state and stuff like that. So I'm sure you've had this experience. If you can, think back to that, where it's like, there's certain games where, like I said, you're seeing it before it happens and you kind of can take over the game. And I've been able to do that this last year in Mexico, probably better than I have, at any other point in my career. which is huge for me with the steps thing, because it's like if your most recent full season was in your mind your best season, that's a good sign. Favorite team wise, the Salina Liberty, the arena team, and the CIF. They were, I mean, that is a championship caliber organization. And they've won now a couple championships, and I'm super proud of all those guys, the coaching staff and everything. I have a lot of respect for all of them over there.
What league was that again? Was that, you say that was the NIL?
CIF. It was the Salina
CIF,
Liberty.
okay.
Salina Liberty. But I have a lot of respect for all those guys over there, and I mean the way that ownership group, general manager, coaches, the way they handle business over there should be a model for all, developmental leagues, all different leagues, to show what it takes to actually run an organization the right way. As far as everyone was paid on time, everyone was taken care of. We had practice facilities that worked. We had access to, strength and conditioning and all that, access to food that they paid for and stuff like that. The travel, everything was done, and taken care of at a championship caliber level. So even if on the field, there were certain weeks I was playing linebacker, I was playing D-end, I was inactive a couple weeks, I'd come back and I'd play linebacker, and I was playing all over the place. I was kind of a utility guy for them. So as far as, actual on the field, I was a utility player. I was just trying to help the team. I was filling in where I could. But as far as the organization and the coaching staff and everything, I have a lot of respect for them. And I think that's a team really that should be modeled. And I think that anybody, wanting to start up a team, because I know nowadays there's a ton of people that want to get their own arena team or their own, smaller team, whatever. The Salina Liberty is a team you need to look at and look at the way they do things, because they've really been building something over there.
I like it. I'm definitely going to have to research that more now that we're talking as well.
Yes, sir.
I tried to research it some now, but I really didn't know what to look for, and I knew.
Yeah, the best. I think the best. Their most of their information and stuff would probably be Facebook, I guess. Salina Liberty on Facebook. Salina is a small town in Kansas, which is perfect for them because it's big there. They have a ton of people that have season tickets, come back year after year after year after year. They have people that travel with the team. It's almost like a minor league baseball team or a minor league hockey team or something like that in a smaller town. You know what I mean? So it's really well done. But I would definitely check it out, because as far as arena teams go, and they're not the flashiest or the best social media department or whatever, but just purely football fans bringing money in, doing all that. Man, they're doing it the right way for sure.
Good deal. I like it, and I'm excited to check it out more now as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, dude. I think I only have one more question for you. It's nothing too crazy, but yeah. Where do you see yourself in 2025? So not this coming year, but the following year.
Absolutely. So in 2025, man, I first of all, I'm getting married spring of 2025, so we're locking that down, like we talked about.
Hey, there you go.
Locking that down. But man, I really see myself this next year taking advantage of my opportunity, whatever that may be, and then having the opportunity in 2025 to move up, and really get myself in a position where a league like the XFL, ELF, USFL, CFL, something like that, will really give me an opportunity and really, be able to see what I can do and take me serious and really, give me that opportunity to show the value that I can bring to a team. So I think 2025 will really be in my mind and what I'm visualizing. That'll be kind of the peak of the mountain almost, where it's like I've taken all these steps, I keep climbing, and at that point I'm hoping that, and I believe really truly, if I take advantage of this next opportunity, that 2025 will be, when I really kind of get seen and kind of get, acknowledged for these years that I've been putting in, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man, especially after talking. I wish you the best of success in whatever you do, whether it be, Mexico or Europe or America. Yeah. I really do wish you success in whatever you decide or wherever you end up.
Absolutely. I
I
appreciate
think no
that.
matter what, you'll be happy. It seems like as long as you're getting paid and took care of, and as well as you
Yeah.
got a professional experience, I think
Yeah.
you'll be good. But yeah, man, you seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders. Very humble individual. So I'm
I
not too
appreciate it.
concerned about you as a player or person.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. That's about going to wrap it up. I think that's all the questions I got for you, dude. We've been on here for almost an hour exactly.
Yes, sir.
Oscar, I appreciate you coming on. Guys, this is Oscar Scott. He's a professional linebacker. Expect him to be somewhere next year. Not sure where right now, but he definitely will end up. And I mean, once you get somewhere, dude, come back on. Let's talk about it. You
Yeah,
have some experiences. Come back on. I've got a pretty good stream of followers. It's nothing huge and major, but I mean,
we're building it.
get
It's a building process, getting
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And this is what I enjoy, honestly, dude, is this collaboration and getting to know you guys as athletes. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a unique story. And it really makes who you are as a player, what you've dealt with and what you've done. So it's awesome that I appreciate you taking the time to come on, dude, and good luck in your future.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it. I'll be tuned in to what you're doing too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey,
I'm catching up on episodes right now. So
hey, I tell you, it's been a growing pain. When I started this thing, it was all audio. Now it's turned into a live stream with guests and all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely every episode's a building experience and learning experience. Everything's been a go as you can and kind of just wiggle your way around until you're successful in what you're doing. So I appreciate you, dude. And like I said, anytime you're wanting to come on or you have anything you want to present or you want me to put out, just let me know. I'll put it out.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Before you hop off, shout out your socials. This is an audio podcast too.
Okay.
So people will listen at home.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, my handle is Oscar Scott _51. On Twitter, or I guess it's X now.
Confusing.
Yeah. Twitter/X. My handle is Oscar Scott _84. So Instagram and Twitter. Yeah. I'll follow me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I will put all your stuff in the notes as well, so it's easily clickable. It'll just be a link, so no worries. But I always tell people with the audio, definitely do that. You'll find that some of the people here that listen, they will support you full-heartedly. So I look forward to you and your success in the future, man. And thank you again for coming on today.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And we will see you again, Oscar. Stay in touch.
Sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. For sure.
Have a good one, man.